I was a little unsure about coming down here to San Diego because I knew this is, very close to Mr. Issa's district, and I thought, well, his view on women being allowed to speak is that we should be shut out of congressional hearings about our own health care, and instead we should hear from that panel of men. But you know what I've realized since I've arrived? Darrell Issa doesn't speak for San Diego women. Because this year we've seen attempt after attempt to silence us about our own health care and about the choices that matter to us. But have you been silenced? No! I tell you what, you sound louder than ever to me. But you know what needs to be silenced? Comments like the ones we recently saw from Mr. Murdoch. And comments like the ones we saw from Congressman Aiken. Spreading false information and lies about women's own bodies, about saying that somehow magically a woman who's a victim of sexual assault would not get pregnant from that, and therefore she has no need to have access to the safe, legal abortion care that she needs. And then more recently, Mr. Murdoch saying that if she does become pregnant, that was God's intent. But you know what? It's beyond the comments, because the comments, fine, have your different beliefs, as offensive and inaccurate as they may be. But whatever I have a concern is when they are trying to go to Washington to legislate those beliefs onto our bodies. And that's why this election is so important, because as all year long, we have been making our voices heard. We've been making sure to stand up and to not be silenced on these issues that matter so much to us. But the most important time for us to make our voice heard is coming up in, 11 days? November 6th? That's the moment when we have to speak loudly and clearly and strongly and say that we vote, we stand with leaders who stand with women. Those are leaders like President Obama, who has stood with women for 4 years now, who fought for the Affordable Care Act to make sure that we all have affordable access to the contraception that we need, to the breast cancer screenings that we need, to the domestic violence screenings that we need, and who has, along with the Senate and our champions in the House, have stood firm against the extreme policies that we've seen from the Republican leadership. I mean, some of it is really just amazing and shocking, frankly, the things that have actually been put forward by this House. I didn't think that we would see a day when there was a bill in the House of Representatives to allow women to die in emergency rooms. A bill that if a woman needs an abortion to save her life, a hospital could deny her that life-saving care. But not only did we see that bill, we saw it co-sponsored by Vice Presidential nominee Mr. Ryan. And we saw it voted for by Mr. Bill Bray here in San Diego. It passed the House. This is not the type of leadership that women in this country deserve. We deserve better. We deserve better than a House of Representatives who thinks that their job on day one, their #1 priority, should be to defund Planned Parenthood. I thought there were more important priorities in this country over the last 2 years than taking away women's access to breast cancer screenings and cervical cancer screenings. Because that's what we're talking about. Abortion hasn't been funded by the federal government in decades, unless it's a case of rape, incest, or the life of a woman. This is about taking away essential preventive health care from millions of women in this country, and that's not what I'm looking for my elected officials to stand for. And another shocking piece of legislation that we saw this year, drawing distinctions between which survivors of rape should have access to the health care that they need. You know, it's shocking enough to almost silence you, right? You sort of stand there aghast. But then we have to take that shock, that dismay, and turn it into power. We have to make sure our voices are going to be heard this November 6th and that we're not going to stand for this type of extreme legislation one more day. But this election is not only important for us making sure that we're sending a clear signal about what we're looking for, it's important because we have to say that we won't tolerate this type of legislation anymore. Because if we don't show up to vote, if we don't bring each and every family member to vote with us, if we don't do everything we can by November 6th, then we will have said that all of that extreme legislation was okay. That was okay in our country, that was okay to do to our friends, our mothers, our sisters, the women we care about. And that is not the message we're going to send this November 6th. So we have to know each and every detail of which of our legislators voted for those incredible and offensive and dangerous bills. We have to know where Mr. Ryan stood on each of those votes. We have to know Mr. Romney's position. And we have to know folks like Mr. Bilbray right here in San Diego and Mr. Issa. And I know that's a lot of research that it sounds like I'm giving you. But I have good news. Planned Parenthood has done the work for you. When I want to look at which candidates I should support, one of the first places that I go is to the Planned Parenthood Action Fund website. And here in San Diego, that's at voteforchoice.org. I'm told that it's right on front of my podium. Voteforchoice.org. You can find information on the records of the folks who are supposed to be representing you. You can find which candidates Planned Parenthood Action Fund has endorsed as being champions who will stand with women every day in office. And I have the pleasure and the honor of introducing you to one of those champions. Because you're not going to like what you find about Mr. Bilbray's record. You're going to find that he voted for each of those bills that I talked about. And instead, San Diego has the opportunity to elect a man who has shown that he will stand with women every day, that he will be a strong voice not only for choice, but for all aspects of women's health care. And that man is Scott Peters. Please welcome Scott Peters, the next congressman from the 52nd District.